Happy Monday, everybody. How's everyone doing today? First off, I've learned my lesson. First, let me get a quick sound check. Can you hear me okay? Let me know if you can hear me okay. We've had a lot of days where we've had all kinds of issues. I spent the last week trying to work out all of the issues. Sounds good. Perfect. I love it. Welcome everybody to Mastermind Academy. What's up, Bedwars? Coming in first with the woohoo. Good to have you. Bedrock Michael, welcome. Bert the Banker, welcome. Stone Cold Stream Austin, that is actually me. Welcome to myself. That is we'll talk about Stone Cold Stream Austin in a little bit because there's more with that now. Sin City, welcome. I know last week, no streams. Last week, everything kind of went wrong last week, like everything. My computer started to have some major issues. Ended up being a power supply after troubleshooting for a long time. Really annoying. So we did get that worked out, so we're good for now. But I also spent the week, it took me a couple days to kind of get through that because I was still working, all kinds of other stuff. Pretty tough, but more on that as well. But we should be good to go. We should be all good as long as I don't bump my Go XLR. We should be good. Audio issues, I figured out the audio issues. I need to port over to OBS Studio from Streamlabs OBS. I'm in the middle of the process, not all the way done, so I'll make sure not to touch the mixer tonight, and we should be good to go. Should be good to go. But I'm sorry, yeah, it hurt. It feels like I've been away from you all for very long since I didn't get to stream last night, anytime at all last week. How you doing, Cook the Ryan? Thank you so much for the Twitch Prime sub. Glad to have you for 5 months. Thank you so much. And absolutely, what's up, a silly D, loving the vibe. I appreciate that. The vibe is life. Okay, I love it too. So I appreciate that. What's up, Yuri? How are you doing today? Absolutely, that one PC player. You're not the only PC player. I too am a PC player. Richard Franks, how are you doing? Cool. What's up, TD Roque? How are you doing? Bert the Banker, I think I already gave you a shout out, but welcome. Good to have you. Glad you're excited. Ro Gibbs, hello. Let's see, we got another Yuri in here. Yuri Susan, good to have you in here. Is this how I add to the chat? Yep, just add right there. I can see everything you're saying. Absolutely. Aganish, 100%. We're gonna do our best to make this, we're gonna continue to do these. We're gonna try to make these as good as possible, when you hear why in a little bit. We thought you got abducted by aliens. I did not get abducted by aliens. I would rather have been abducted by aliens than to, I know a good amount about tech. I've dealt with computers my whole life, but again, I've been away from the Windows world for a while, and I've never been a big hardware person. And so all of my weird computer issues are pretty much all hardware related. And it's a learning curve. I felt like an old man for sure. Oh, pronounced CLD. I like it. I'll remember that. Appreciate that. CLD. I like that. What's up, rollers? How are you doing tonight? Okay, so first off, welcome to Mastermind Academy. Welcome to this thing we like to call pipelines. We're going to talk about what all of that is, but first, it's Monday, and I just I want everyone to sit back and relax and get comfortable. This doesn't need to be this is not a graded school assignment. This just shouldn't take you back to your dreadful college or high school days. Just relax, kick off your shoes, go grab a snack, grab some food. We're going to take it nice and easy. We're going to talk through lots of problems. We're gonna learn a lot of different things over this time. Tonight in particular, though, all we're gonna do tonight is tonight's like syllabus night. So if you've been through any of our journeys before, any of our boot camps before, tonight is mostly syllabus night. This one will be a little bit different than ones we've done before. We'll go over what it is, what we're going to be going over the next 8 weeks, talk about what we're going to be doing, get you introduced to what this is going to be. This class is a little bit interesting because we're doing a little bit of a LARPing. We're doing a little bit of live action role playing here. We're going to take on a persona for this entire course, and it's going to be fun. So we'll get you just introduced to that, and allow you to get your mind right, allow you to get ready. And then on Wednesday, we will hit the ground running because it will be a lot of stuff. But welcome, everyone. Thank you so much to that one PC player for the Twitch Prime sub. Good to have you. What's up, Jadabe? I tried it. I'm gonna get them all wrong. We'll make a little super clip of all of the terrible pronunciations I do, but thank you so much for the Twitch Prime sub as well. Good to have everyone. What's up, Joe Flu? Good to have you. Marco, good to see you. How are you doing today? We got the hype train going. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. Good to have everyone here. But first, what we're gonna do is, like I said, I'm in the midst of some shift. I thought I was gonna be done by today, but it's okay. So let me just make sure I hit the right button over here. We'll get to the Academy view. That was loud. I don't think you guys can hear that, but for anyone who is new to the style of things that we're doing, we are going to be mainly learning concepts at the beginning of each class, and then diving into implementation of those things, or diving into, you know, the project or whatever we're gonna be doing. Tonight is pretty much all slides, because again, we're just getting introduced to everything. So we'll start off, you know, I'm gonna start giving you guys a little bit of there'll be some announcements and things. Actually, one of the first things is, I'll give you some more information about this a little bit later, but we're going to talk about what Mastermind is and what Mastermind Academy is and what all that's going to be now. But first thing I want to tell you is that we have some jobs available for people. If anyone is in particular looking for a software development lead position, or a very strong kind of senior engineer, specifically for this role, it's a contract position, but it's a pretty dope company, a pretty dope data company out of Baltimore, doing some pretty cool stuff. I'm gonna post information about this, but during this time in the beginning, I just brought this up now just to show you that we'll probably highlight a few jobs in the beginning. There's a lot of people looking for roles of all kind. They will not, I promise you, they will not all be senior roles and things that a lot of people can't get. So we'll have this at the beginning. We'll have other announcement about things that are going on, ways for you to get other resources, again, to get in the industry, to change positions, to get whatever it is that you need. And it'll be a little more structured in the coming weeks, but I'm gonna paste the information about this a little bit later, and there will be a link to the website. I'll actually paste it now if you want to check it out, if you're at all interested in it. Absolutely. CLD, we will have junior roles. We'll have a lot of junior roles. What's up, Swonder? Thank you so much for the sub. Razzle Storm, thank you so much for the sub. Are we gonna finish the Kubernetes series? Sensity, yes. It'll likely be on, I probably do it on a Friday and a Saturday, probably next week. Probably next week on Friday and Saturday, so that they will go up as well. For anyone who doesn't know, we're in the middle of a Kubernetes series called Harmony. It was a 4-part Kubernetes kind of, not deep dive, but a little exploration of Kubernetes. We got through 2 of them before I started having computer problems, and we did not finish the last 2. So we will get back into that, but don't worry about issues with computers now. We'll talk about what's going to happen if I do have to postpone something, which I shouldn't have to, because now this is a priority. Let's hop right into that, just so I don't want to hold you too long. Tonight will probably be, I always say I'm gonna get you out early, and then I don't. So maybe I won't say that. If I just don't say anything, maybe I can get you out a little bit early, but I will get you the slides here. What we're gonna do every week, there will be at least some level of slides every week. A lot of weeks, there won't be a ton for this course, especially. But tonight there are. What I'm gonna do is, I usually post a link somewhere. I'm gonna post it in the Slack right now. And here's what we'll do. We'll do this in 2 ways, so that you can get your slides any way that you wanna get it. So Stephen Yeet, you can do the project command. We are learning all about software delivery, automation, and infrastructure. If you're interested in DevOps, SRE stuff, we're doing all that stuff. We are no longer, we're gonna talk about that in a second as well. We are no longer using Slack for a number of reasons. We are using Discord now, for a number of reasons. There are definitely some trade-offs there, but in the long term, it's gonna be better to be on Discord for the things that we're doing. So just hit !Discord and hop into the Discord. It's really going to be the place where a lot is happening. So head over to Discord. Slack's not going to be a thing anymore. The one thing Discord needs, if anyone out there has any connections to Discord, please tell them to implement a threads feature. We absolutely need a threads feature in Discord. That is I underestimated how much I would miss it. Oh yeah, but it probably timed out. You should be able to see it at the top. You can also click the Discord thing below. I think that Nightbot is just timing out. It should be a few above you. It's probably gonna, there you go. Now Nightbot's coming in. So just click that link and it will allow you to be added to the Discord. Okay, here we go. Let's start talking about it so that you know why you're here, why you should stick around, and what we're gonna be doing, because that is exciting. So today, is Syllabus Day for one, and then we'll go over a little bit of a DevOps and SRE refresher. Why are we going over a refresher? So anyone new, we ran a 12-week DevOps course at the very beginning of the year, introduction to DevOps concepts. You know, DevOps is a big thing. 12 weeks, you know, it's just a little, you know, you get to touch everything, a little bit of everything, but you don't really get to dive deep into a lot of stuff. You don't really know how to use those tools to solve problems. And so that's what this is going to be for. But what we're going to talk about is, you know, what is DevOps to me, and how when I'm approaching you all with this information, I want you to know where I'm coming from so you can calibrate to what you know as well. So we'll talk about DevOps and site reliability engineering. Mostly we'll spend a lot of time doing that. We'll have some conversations around it. We'll take a look at, you know, we'll take a look at roles and things so that we can understand what it is that we are trying to learn, and what it, you know, equates to, and what we should be paying attention to. And then I'll get you introduced to your new role. Like I said, we are simply we're LARPing here. You are going to take on a different identity throughout this course. And so we're just going to, real quick, we're going to get you introduced to the new role. Today, we're not going to deep dive into the infrastructure. We're going to deep dive into the infrastructure on Wednesday. I do have reference architecture, reference infrastructure for you. And so I managed to get it. I'm still doing a little testing to see if we can get it in VirtualBox. It is an AMI. I got it out to was it VDMK or something like that. I was able to get it out. When I booted it, it worked, but someone else I know tried to boot it and it didn't work. It's not super important that you do have it, but I think that if you want to play around with it, that would be fun. So all that information is going to come on Wednesday when we deep dive into that stuff. Also, I need to switch up the music just a little bit. You know, this isn't my, it's good. It's a little, I need to slow it down just a little bit. Let's see. Mr. Harris Heller is who we are listening to. We're listening to a guy named Harris Heller. He's like a YouTuber, but like he made this like service because he streams as well. And you know, free music is pretty important. You know, royalty free music is important because YouTube will pull down all of your stuff if you don't have royalty free music. So this is what we're gonna be listening to. Whomping Willow, appreciate it. It's good to be back. I wonder if Nightbot did buy a 3080. So I did not go wait for a 3080. But I do plan on going to wait for a 3090. I know someone who was out at 10 o'clock at night, camped out of Micro Center, and was not able to grab a 3080. And so, you know, we might have to do a little bit of camping on Wednesday. Okay. You know, we don't need that 3090, but, Stone Cold Stream Austin might need that 3090. So, you know, we'll see what we can get. Yeah, Hyper is dope. Hyper is pretty cool. Okay. Let's hop right into it because this stuff's important. So part one, the Syllabus Day stuff, the stuff you care about is the who, the what, the where, the when, and the why. So who am I? My name is Aaron Brooks. A lot of you have heard these things. Check that out. Check that second line out there. I am a former technical lead and DevOps engineer. So what do we mean by former? We mean as of Friday. Friday was my last day, final day in the corporate community, in the corporate world. Worked for a great company called Fearless, amazing software company called Fearless. Did a lot of cool things there. I worked at a bunch of other places. I actually worked at, I worked at ZeniMax Media. They were just purchased by Microsoft. So if anyone, you know, those gamers out there, if you have that Xbox, that Microsoft, you know, Game Pass bundle, you should be happy about that. But I did work there, Elder Scrolls Online, worked a bunch of different places. But that's what I did, you know, technical lead, DevOps engineer. I've worked with software teams. I've led software teams. So yeah, that's my background. I have about 10 years in the industry. But I've done tons of different things during that time. So yeah, that's what I've done. I'm a 90s baby. I was born in 90. Again, I had people both tell me like that, like, I'm glad you told me that because of the way that the streams go, as well as people who are like, wow, like that seems like weird information to include. Again, I think it goes to just the things that I like. If you take a look at like stuff on the wall, you'll probably, maybe you can't make it out because it might be, you know, blurred a little bit, but all 151 original Pokemon are off to my left over here with the 3 starting Pokemon right behind me over my shoulder. That's important to me. That was, you know, Pokemon helped raise me. So, you know, just giving you guys some context. Context is everything. And, you know, just giving you a little bit of context. Love cars and motorsports. Love them. You know, so First off, I told you all about I'm trying to get my truck and my trailer and start my little race team. Not really race team, but just I want to start tracking more per year. And so look, I'm really into cars and motorsports. If you ever want to talk cars and motorsports, let me know. I would love to. I love video games. That is video games in Spanish. We are an educational channel, and so now you know a little bit of Spanish. Congratulations, you did two things at once. But I love video games. I usually say on here that I say I'm a gamer, but I only play a couple games. That has changed during quarantine a little bit, especially in the past couple weeks. I've been able to squeeze in some more gaming, and we're gonna be doing some game streaming and stuff. I'll give you on the Stone Cold Stream Austin account. Gonna be fun. Give me some time to blow off steam now that I have a little bit of more time on my hands. Because if you don't know, I'll go to my job. I would work for 8 to 10 hours, and then I would come home, and for the rest of my time I would work on my business from right after work until I'll stream and do stuff late at night. And now I have more time. It's really nice. It's surprisingly nice to be able to focus on one thing instead of having being split brained on everything. But I have a little bit of time to play some games now, which is nice. This one is good, but it's true. I was born with 6 fingers on this hand, on my left hand. That's a mutation. So if X-Men were a thing, I would be eligible to be an X-Men. I think that's important for people to know, because that means I'm special. Okay, I just need you to know that I could be an X-Men, and you need to keep that in mind, because I think it'll make you feel more highly of me. And so if you could also be considered to be X-Men, I would love to know, what would your superpower be? I don't know what I would have been able to do with that extra finger, but it would have been pretty cool. They cut it off because it would be weird to have an extra finger. I don't think it had a bone in it. I don't know. I don't remember. I was a baby, but I could have been an X-Men, and I think that's very important. Android and Spotify. Spotify over iOS and Apple Music. I'm not an Apple hater at all. We have an iPad Pro here. I think Apple products are solid, but there's just certain aspects of Android and Spotify that I love over iOS and Apple Music, because there's no mixing and matching. You can't do Android and Apple Music, and you cannot do iOS and Spotify. If you do, you're weird. And we only pick sides over here. So I need you to know that. Pancakes over waffles all day. Pancakes are better than waffles. That's it. End of story. Pancakes are better than waffles. Dogs are better than cats. There we go. Now you know me. Everyone knows me now. This usually starts a debate. Today shouldn't start a debate. I think everyone agrees at this point. Everyone agrees at this point. And if you feel differently, just keep it to yourself. I welcome all you iOS users, all you waffle eaters, all the people who like cats. Even though cats are a little bit evil, I grew up with cats. They're evil. It's okay if you like them. Everyone is welcome here on this channel. So I am a little bit sorry, man, if you're offended by that. I'm a little bit sorry, but I'm a little bit sorry, but I also don't care. I care, but it's tough. It's not an opinion. It's the way the world works. Yeah, Stone Cold Stream Austin streams Call of Duty Modern Warfare. That is exactly what we will be streaming. And there, me and some friends, we're gonna have a little bit of fun. So if you want to see us, you want to see people be completely average at games, come on and check it out. Unsub and unfollow dogs. Well, everyone has their. Again, you guys have your opinions, and I only have facts. Only facts. That's why you should listen to me, because I only have facts. I should throw that on here. Nothing I believe is an opinion. It is. I'm a man of facts. But that's the who. Now we need to learn a little bit about the what and the why. So, Mastermind Academy. This is Mastermind Academy. So you might be saying, hey, you quit your technical lead job, you quit your DevOps engineering job. Yes, I did, to start to run a company. I founded a company in the beginning of 2019 called Mastermind. When I started it, I did not know that I wanted to start a company. I actually had the opportunity to join a digital services business cohort that taught you how to run a business that provided digital services specifically to the government at the time. And through that process, kind of found the things that, got to build on the things that I love to do. I love technology. I love the life and the experience that it's afforded me. And you know, I had been teaching people how to get into the tech industry, have been teaching people technical concepts and things. And so that's where part of this started. So Mastermind is the company. This is not, this doesn't cost you anything. This is a piece of the company. Mastermind Academy is a piece of it. And all Mastermind Academy is bootcamp style training series where we have two different things. We have journeys and we have excursions. Journeys are your traditional bootcamp style things, like what we're about to start now, 8 to 12 weeks, so longer sessions. Excursions are shorter, more specific things. So journeys would be on more general topics like this one, you know, software delivery, DevOps, SRE. There's a lot of things to learn inside of there, but the excursions dive down into the individual things. So we did one on Kubernetes, we did one on Linux, we did one on Git, we did a Git masterclass. And so these are diving into specific technologies and smaller concepts to really kind of understand how to work those things. And so there'll be a combination of each of these things throughout the year. And so you can go to academy.mastermind.io to see what some of those things are and when they'll be running. There's a calendar on there as well. The why is that I genuinely believe that anyone who wants to learn tech should have access to do so. Anyone who already knows tech and wants to pick up skills, I think that they should have access to do so, regardless of, you know, their money, hopefully regardless of time commitment. I'm hoping that because of the way the internet works, people can watch it when they do have time, but I also believe that learning tech is hard or can be hard, so that we should do it together. And so you can watch videos all day. I watch videos to learn all the time, but I think it helps when you do it together. And so that's why I think it's fun here. You can get your questions answered by people other than me, real time. I think it's fun. You know, you can meet people to help you along your journey. You know, you see people here every night in the chat, you bond, you get to know them outside of here on Discord or whatever. Maybe you'll play some games together. Maybe you'll build something really cool together. We also, during this process, more so in Decoded, and so I'll talk about Decoded in a second as well, but we will be doing some paired sessions. So if you want to, we'll be hopping into a 500-person Zoom and pairing up and hopping into VS Code's live share feature so that we can all work together on some different things. So we'll be checking that out. So yeah, just trying to make it as collaborative as possible and having a little bit of fun. But that's all the Academy is. The Academy isn't anything more than that. You don't have to pay any money. I'm never going to ask you for anything. I might try to sell you some stickers, but it'll always be free, and there's always going to be new content. The rest of Mastermind is a technical talent pipeline company. So the goal is to help people get from not knowing anything into organizations. One thing I have a big gripe with is the current technical recruiting space. And so I think that we're doing some really cool things in that space. And so, yes, I will be, I'll let you guys know when you can start sending me resumes. If you would like to, you know, if you would like to work with me, I'll let you know as soon as you can do so. Putting just a few more things in place right now to be able to efficiently be able to go through these things. Was taking them via email before, and that's not the way to go. I don't even know why I ever thought that was fine. But yeah, it'll, you know, there's a lot of stuff there. Also doing some corporate training and helping some consulting to help companies build out engineering teams and understanding how to build out engineering teams. So yeah, that's, you know, now you're introduced to the what and the why. You know why I'm doing it. You know what Mastermind is. You know what Mastermind Academy is. Yeah, that helps. Mind if I drop a link to user group? No, not at all. You can drop any links that are at all relevant, that are resources to the people. Drop them. There's no, whatever it is, even if people are against self-promotion. I mean, hey, if you are promoting something that you've done that is going to be beneficial, that is, you know, it's on topic, share it. It does not bother me at all. Hopefully that Nightbot doesn't block it. If it does, I'll try to fix it. But share whatever you want to share. That helps. Absolutely. I have like 5 sticker designs. We have the generic Mastermind sticker, but you know, I'm a little bit fancy, so I had to get some really cool designs for stickers. So I'll let you guys see those as soon as they come in. Mastermind on main site, our service link at the bottom. Our company is an error page. I will check that out. I'll tell you one thing that I'm not is not one thing that I'm not. One thing that I don't like to do is web development. And so actually the thing that I'm focused on this week, which link is broken? Our company. Okay, I'll look over the entire site. So again, I've been working basically a full-time job plus this kind of just in the evening with the streams. This week is a catch-up week. I'm taking care of all the little things that have built up over time, so that is really good to know. I will take care of it. There's actually some significant changes coming to the site as well, just because now I have some time to work it. And do I need a web dev? I do need a web dev. I'm gonna have some information about that as well. I'm actually going to be doing some I'm probably gonna be doing some hiring soon, so just, you know, I'm throwing it out there, but absolutely. And there's also an eye missing in Mastermind. We have a lot of places we need to go fix that, but that is true. I'm from Baltimore. Let me know if you need an intern. CLD, perfect. Shoot me a whisper. I hired one intern. I have one intern right now. I'm probably going to be hiring 3 for a very interesting project. So again, I'm going to give you guys all that for sure within the week. It's all gonna, like, I thought I was gonna be done with it for today, but you know, last week was just a little too wild, and I'll have it for you. We'll talk about that at the end. Let's get through this, and let's actually Discord. I forgot about Discord already. Shoot me a message on Discord. Don't send me a whisper. If you send me a whisper, I won't read it. I don't even know why I said whisper. I think that was just the word that popped into my head. Okay, so the where and the when. That was the who, the what, and the why. The where and the when here, of course. The only reason I'm putting this link here is because some people find this on YouTube. So after each stream, 24 hours later, they will be up on YouTube. They will never be more than 48 hours after. Most 98% of the time there will be 24 hours after the air. It has to be 24 hours. What does it have to be? But there's some rules for Twitch and affiliates. So 24 hours after, they will be up on YouTube. There will be a playlist specifically for pipelines. So if you miss one, don't sweat it. You can catch up whenever you want to catch up. No problem. But this is where it's going to be. Mondays and Wednesdays, 7 p.m. to 9-ish. So probably most days will be between 9 and 9:30. Your time's valuable. I certainly understand. If I could get it any shorter than that, I would absolutely get it shorter than that. But these are some pretty intense topics. We could do it shorter than that if we did it more nights per week. But I think 2 nights commitment is something that a lot of people ever do. I know everyone can't do it, but I think it is approachable for a lot of people. So again, and it's okay if you got to miss here and there. It's completely okay. If you miss one here, it's okay. Don't do your best not to fall off. Just keep watching. Even if you don't get everything the first go around, we'll talk about that. Even if you don't get everything the first go around, the information will be useful, I promise you. But Discord, please hop into Discord and be active in Discord. So I only put all day every day here. Don't do these things all day every day. Don't introduce yourself all day every day. Don't paste your GitHub all day every day. But the win for Discord is anytime. If you have questions, if you're working on something, whatever you want to do, if you want to know who wants to play a game with you, whatever. Discord is the place where you can reach out and have some fun there. I will be in Discord pretty often now that I am out of all of my major slacks, which is really nice actually, and I actually have time to do it. But I would like everyone, if you're new, to introduce yourself in the intros channel of Discord and paste your GitHub in the GitHub section. If you don't have a GitHub, don't sweat it at all. Throughout the course, you'll sign up for a GitHub, or you can sign up for a GitHub now and just paste it so people can follow you, give you a little star or something, give you a follow. But again, let's start to get to know each other. The more collaborative we can make this, the more fun it'll be, the easier it'll be. Is there a specific channel in the Discord for the journey? So great question. If you take a look at the Discord, this is what Discord looks like. Let me move this over here. I can't make this any larger, I don't think. Oh, yes, I can. Okay. Over here on the left, everything will be broken up. There is a pipelines section for this course. You'll see some old stuff in here. Because we started pipeline, we actually tried to do pipelines back in like May on Saturdays, but again at the time a bunch of things came up, and again at the time I had a full-time job. We were actually running 2 other journeys, so we were trying to run 3 journeys at once. It didn't really work out for pipelines, so we had to put it on the back burner. It's changed a lot since then, but this is the section for it. So there's a discussion section. If you want to talk about any of the stuff that we've been working on, that is the place to do it. If you want want to, ask questions about something that you're working on, something at your job, whatever, discussions is a place to have it. Questions, hold on, let me change the music one more time. Let's put it on synthwave. Questions, so feel free to ask your questions here. We're gonna miss some things sometimes. So ask them here if they don't get answered. I will be going through the question section, and things that didn't get answered, I will do my best to answer. I'm gonna try to do my best to answer. If you know the answers to questions, please answer those questions. But that's what that'll be. Resources are going to be where, as we're going over topics, I will give you resources in the resources channel to kind of further the things that we are learning. We're only 2.5 hours in, 2.5 hours in here. You can take that time afterwards to go through those resources afterwards outside of the streams to get a little bit farther. If AWS, I did a few projects, use Terraform. How different is Azure? Yes, sweet. I'm currently doing Azure DevOps course. We're going to talk about all the different cloud providers. The thing about this course is going to be, although we're going to be working inside of AWS, the concepts are going to be pretty cloud agnostic. Specific implementation things, you can't get around that, but the concepts and what we're going to be doing to solve the problems is going to be pretty cloud agnostic. We're not going to be choosing AWS services that are, designed to fix these things. We're going to be focusing on more a process and solutioning than the tools per se. But I do encourage everyone to check out a bunch of different cloud providers. We're gonna do someone advised us doing like a cloud native thing, and we might do something like that, to where we do something in one cloud and then try to implement it in other clouds so we can see the differences and stuff. That might be pretty fun. But Twitch intro, this isn't really a Twitch intro. There was a time when we went really deep into this section. If you're new to this, if you're new to Twitch, I'm still learning a lot on Twitch. All you need to know about Twitch is originally designed to be a game streaming platform. That's primarily what it is. I forgot what year, but some time ago, Twitch started to allow people to do like in real life streams, to walk around and use in real life streams. And since then, Twitch has allowed for a lot of different things. So there's all kinds of things you can find on here. The science and technology section is great. It's a wealth of knowledge. I've learned so much in the science and technology section of Twitch. So if you like the content here, I encourage you to check out some other people. At the end of every night, end of every stream, we will do something called a raid, and we will all head over and we will, drop into someone else's stream, say hello, learn from them a little bit. I mean, you can leave whatever you want to do, but we will do that at the end of every stream. Helps build community, but also just, again, it's really cool to be introduced to other people. But Twitch, pretty dope place. The reason why we stream here is simply due to the amount of interaction that you can have, the amount of integrations and things to make something like this work is really great. I'm just starting to tap into some of those things, and it truly is amazing. One big thing, probably the biggest thing I want you to know if you're new to Twitch, is the commands. So if you hit exclamation point, and if you scroll below, there should be a command section. There's more commands than that are available. If you do exclamation point commands, I think it'll give you a link to the list of commands that we have here, but it allows you to get information for yourself. It allows you to have some self-service here, and you can find out things like, if you want to see some of my settings, if you want to see my GitHub or something like that, you can get that information, and we can quickly add those things on the fly. And so that's really cool. So if you see people typing in exclamation point commands or something, and something pops back, Nightbot is kind of taking care of all that for us. So yeah, you can check those things out. That's really cool. Other than that, yeah, I mean, it is over the internet. If I ever start to have internet problems and I lag out, keep an eye on the chat, because it happens. Internet hiccups happen. I will still be messaging you in the chat because I have my phone and stuff. I'll probably need to restart my computer or something if something like that happens. And so you'll just need to refresh. So nothing, no big deal. I'll let you know when I'm back and you just refresh. Other than that, There you might see the people are subscribing, and I'm thanking people for subscribing. Subscriptions are they're the payment model here on Twitch. So if you do like the content here and you would like to, I think Twitch subscriptions cost $5 or something, but I think right now they're $3.99 or something. You can do that if you have Amazon Prime, because Twitch is an Amazon company. You can get a subscription for $0 for free per month. So they are a monthly thing. You know, if you want to support, I appreciate it. No big deal. There is no, like I said, there is absolutely no cost to this course for you at all. So don't sweat it. But yeah, that's all you need to know about Twitch. It's a cool spot. You should watch people stream. It's crazy how interesting it is. I used to think streaming was dumb, like game streaming. I used to think like, man, who watches this? And now I watch a lot of game streaming. Yes, Classroom link is broken. We are not using Google Classroom for this at all. So don't, no, you don't need to worry about that. We can actually get rid of that command, but don't worry about that at all. Let's switch. Now let's talk. Oh, it's early. This is great. We're making amazing time, here. Pipeline. So I'm confident that I'll get you out of here by 8:30 tonight. I'm very confident. All right, I got this. I'm in the middle of deploying while watching this. Multitask. That is great. Hi Patrick. I like that. That's a really good name. Yeah, you know, that's great. Yes, you can get the slides. Here we go. So every day, what I'll do is let's see, commands, add exclamation point slides. I might already have one for this, but let's see. Let's get the link here. Anyone, let's change this to anyone in the world. Anyone with a link. Anyone with a link can see it. So first, what I'll do is commands, add slides. This, nope, I need to edit it. Commands, edit, slides. All right, go ahead and type in exclamation point slides and you can get the link to the slides. And I will update that daily. So you just, whenever you come in, you can do that. The other thing that I want to tell you is that there are 2 boot camps running. There's another journey starting tomorrow called Decoded. Decoded is level 2. It's the journeyman level of the software engineering and computer science boot camp that we started last time. And so if you're interested in any of that, we will be hopping into that next time, or tomorrow, not next time, but tomorrow. All right. Same time as well. Also at 7 p.m. So pipelines. Actually, let me just paste the link in here too, since Nightbot definitely doesn't. It definitely likes to be rate limited for sure. So let's go on a journey. Pipelines. This is on the website. You probably read this, but it's an 8-week journey into the world of software delivery, automation, and infrastructure. And I think this is going to be a very, very fun piece of learning, because there's a lot that goes into these things. And it's never not surprised me how people coming from different backgrounds don't get to experience a lot of these pieces. And so for anyone who doesn't know, that I have an ops background. I started out as a traditional kind of operations engineer, a systems administrator. Started off a help desk, systems administration, specifically Linux administration. I worked in Knox, kind of stuff like that. That's how my career started. So I came from the ops side of things. So the infrastructure side of things, and making sure things were up and available, not really knowing at all how the applications worked, what they needed to do, anything like that. But there's a lot that goes into being able to create an application and get it ready for people to use, and then there's many more things that go into making sure it's available for the amount of people you need to be available to, as well as staying up so that being robust enough to survive high spikes in traffic and things like that. So yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. So that's what we're going to be covering. So by the end of this, hopefully you'll have an idea on how to efficiently get software from a developer's computer into production. So this highlights kind of the beginning of that software delivery piece here. How do we get code from someone's out of someone's head onto their computer, from that computer out into the place, production being the place that people consume it. How do we do that? So we're gonna, hopefully you have a good idea at the end of this on how that works. Ways to approach automation of web infrastructure and its configuration. So we're really gonna focus on the infrastructure piece here, the things that allow you to serve these things. We're gonna be learning about how to configure it, configure infrastructure to balance cost and performance. Those are two things that are at odds: cost and performance. You can make the fastest application in the world, well, possibly, if you throw a bunch of money at it. But we always want to get the best bang for our buck, and we'll talk about some ways that we can make sure that we can balance those things. We're gonna talk about managing applications at scale, so not just infrastructure at scale. So a lot of people will think about that. Again, usually that infrastructure is housing and serving these applications, but we're gonna learn about specifically, we're gonna focus on the application here rather than the infrastructure itself, but manage applications at scale when there's a lot of people using it. Deployment patterns, source code management patterns, and systems architecture design principles and patterns. So we're gonna learn about a lot here. Some of the things we'll get deeper on than others, but I think you'll have a solid understanding of each of these things by the end of this. This is, like I said, this is a journeyman level course. This is designed to supersede the 12-week intro to DevOps course we did. Now, if you didn't go through that course and you're a little bit afraid right now because of the stuff we have on here, don't be at all. I really think that you'll still get tons out of this. I think that if you want, you can kind of look to see what's coming up. We have the whole schedule out. Look to see what's coming up and maybe go watch a couple of the videos from the DevOps thing that kind of support what we're going to be doing that week. I'll try to tell you guys what those will be each week to kind of remind you, but no need to turn it off. No need to, to backtrack. I think you can learn a lot from this. We're really just taking the concepts that we learned and doing something with them. Key takeaways here. So those are the things that you should get, but these are the things that I want you to take away from this. I want you to have a strong understanding at the end of this of DevOps and SRE concepts and culture. And now, why am I highlighting these things in particular? I'm highlighting these things in particular because we're talking about, the concepts are great, the tools are great, the methodologies are great, but at the end of the day, I think that a lot of us want to learn these things so that we can get a job, so that we can work, so that we can provide these skills to a company, to an organization, they can pay us for it. And so I want you to know what these things are, what companies think these things are, so that you can go into interviews, so that you know how to approach trying to get one of these roles. I want you to understand how software is created, delivered, and supported. This is a big one. A lot of people don't know these three things. These are the three important things. How do you make software? How do you create software? How do you deliver it? And how do you support it? That's the whole pipeline. That's really the entire software development lifecycle. We're going to dive deeper into that, but I want you to understand that. Practical implementation of modern solutions and methodologies. Technology, each new wave of technology allows for different solutions, allows for different ways to solve problems, and so the way that things are done now, hopefully I can help you understand how to implement modern solutions for the way things are done in today's world. And then I want you to have a solid understanding of the role requirements for a DevOps infrastructure or site reliability engineer. Again, so that you can get that job, or so that you can work towards getting that job. Secondary, I want you to know how to approach learning new concepts and technologies. That's the most important part of the technology industry right here, is being able to approach learning new things. And so hopefully this course will help you get comfortable with that, help you get out of your comfort zone so that you are okay diving into new things. I want you to be at peace, being lost and confused. All of us always are. We're just more comfortable being lost and confused, but you'll get there. You'll find some comfort in it. The realization that no one knows it all, so that can be one of the biggest problems in the tech industry, leads to all kinds of things. Specifically, what's the word, the imposter syndrome. We don't want that. And so I want you to know nobody knows it all. And then a strong belief that tech is for you and you can thrive in it, because that's 100% true. You can be great at tech. Everyone can be great at tech. When I tell you, I've made a great career for myself in the technology industry. I am absolutely not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but you spend time with it. You spend time around it. The same way that you can learn all the basketball and football stats. The same way you remembered up down left right. I'm not that's a little bit before my time, but you used to know those cheat codes on the controller. You used to memorize them. You used to pop in that Game Shark and do a little code. Like you spend enough time with something, you can understand how it works. And so I really truly believe that just about everyone can, if you want to get into tech, you can, and you can thrive in it. And I want you to learn how to use some memes, okay? Because memes are important. Memes are an important way to express how we feel, what we do, all that stuff. And so I will use memes in almost every slide, almost. So, I just want you to understand that. That's all. So a lot of stuff there. I think there's one more slide in this section. The last thing of what I hope to see is active engagement in the chat and Discord. I'm telling you, the more and more you engage, the more and more questions you ask, the tighter you keep yourself to this stuff, the easier it is to spend the time learning these things, the faster you'll learn it as well. So that's really for you and not for me, but I'm going to be very active as well in both of them. So I hope that you are as well. I want you to ask as many questions as you can come up with. Well, I mean, do your, make sure that you're not asking the same questions that are already being answered over and over, but whatever question you have, no question is stupid. If you're not comfortable asking it here, ask it somewhere else. If there's somebody in here in the chat that starts to make you feel comfortable, shoot them a whisper. Sorry that I'm telling everyone to shoot people whispers. Hey, I'm just saying that we are a community. We really, if we can, try to help each other out. But if you're in Discord, ask someone, say, hey, do you mind if I ask you specifically a question? Because, I don't really want to ask this out in front of everybody else. Ask the questions, get your questions answered. I think it is very, very important for you to do that. Get comfortable with it. Then answer questions. If you know the answer, try to answer the question. Very important here. Just do your best. There's going to be things even early on. If you think you're new to this, someone who's 2 days newer to this than you are, you've got 2 days of experience on them. You may have learned exactly the answer to their question. Answer it. Feel free to answer it. And it's okay to say, hey, this may not be the entire answer, but what I know is this. It's okay. It's completely okay. Try. And eventually we'll get the people what they need. And then affirmations of progress, social media, if you can give me a little hashtag mastermind, it just helps. I like to see this stuff. I like to see people working on things. I will be doing it as well as I'm working through things. So yeah, that's all it is. So hopefully, you know what to expect in the next, 7.5 weeks now. Should be fun. Not too stressful. We will be diving into some complicated things. Some concepts will be much easier than others, but it should be fun. Please engage, ask questions. I'll probably be putting some very specific things in the discussion to kind of that are very related to what we're learning during the week. There are probably a few kind of prompts to have you all think about and try some things out, some fun things with what we are doing. So that's what we're doing. So any questions? I'm gonna get a little sip of water, but yeah. No, we are, Crumbs was taken. We are not wrapping up. We're kind of we're about 45% of the way through, almost 50%. We haven't gotten into the meat and potatoes, the protein and potatoes of what we're gonna be doing today. Great question. The thing that happened to the LaCroix is, those software company perks. I used to get LaCroix for free from the software company that I work for, but again, today is my first day as a loner. I'm on my own. I wonder how this works. When am I am I now unemployed, or since I have a company, am I I don't know how that works, but I no longer have someone buying me LaCroix, which is unfortunate. So now I got to buy my own. Self-employed. I see, but I guess I'm self-employed, I guess. But right now, self-employment doesn't provide those LaCroix benefits as my company did. But it's all good. What's interesting is that incubator that I went to, that business incubator, was actually through the company that I work with. And so like I'm still I have an office actually, and it's literally right in front of one of their main areas. And so, you know, if I want to get some LaCroix, I can probably, you know, ask someone that I know. They can probably get it. Owner and general manager, I like it. No, I mean, hey, I free LaCroix was where it was at. I was saying Croix for a job the whole part of last year. Hey, I mean, LaCroix is amazing. Yeah, entrepreneurial status. I don't know. It's really weird that I'm here. It hasn't fully set in yet, because again, I wasn't someone who was like, oh yeah, can't wait to start my own business. It was like, hey, I'm gonna go through this program because I think maybe I'll use the information later. The person who is inviting me to do this is someone that I looked up to. I was like, you know, it won't hurt, you know. And now, you know, give it a year and a half, and you know, I left my I left my cushy job. I'm gonna be 100% honest with y'all. My life was cushy. That was life was good. Life was good. That's why I want y'all to get into tech, because life was good. Life was really good. Good enough, actually. I don't think I told you guys this, but last time we talked about this stuff, you know, I'm into motorsports. I told you guys I'm trying to get the truck. I'm trying to get the trailer, so that I can make some cool stuff happen. This is not the truck, but this is gonna be the truck. This is me just messing around. This is me messing around with Photoshop, but we do have the truck now. We've got the truck, you know, so I'm actually doing the track day in a couple weeks, so you know, things are exciting. But the truck is actually red. This is not what it would actually look like, but we're having a little fun. We played with it a bunch of times, but you know, I'm just letting y'all know the tech life is the life for you. It really is the life for you. It's the life for you. It should be the life for you. And so, no, you know, if things ever get crazy, you know, I might have to just, you know, pull up another contract or something, you know, see what happens. But yes, now that we got all of the syllabus day stuff out of the way, just take a few minutes, again, wind down. We're switching topics, switching gears. We had to get just, you know, all the administrative stuff out of the way. We're going to dive into the stuff. We're going to dive into the stuff that you need to know. And this is what I want to say. Focus on the concepts. Really focus on the concepts. So learning how to do the things is great, phenomenal. A lot of people don't know much about this stuff. The people hiring you probably don't know that much about this stuff. You can have a solid interview. You could have a solid interview just by like what we're about to go over right now. If you can get comfortable talking about the things that we're going to talk about here, you can, you know, I'm not saying you're going to get a job off of it, but these are things that help you prove that you know the things that we're talking about. There's a lot more to getting a job than just knowing the skills. And when we're going through these things, try to listen in for the whys of why we might be doing something. We're going to be talking about a lot of not theory, but we're going to be talking about DevOps methodology tonight. And I'll tell you why we're going to be focusing on specifically DevOps things tonight. There's a little bit in here about SRE, but I'll let you know why when we get to the end. I think it'll make sense. There's a ton of overlap between them anyway. But yeah, just listen to what we're talking about. Practice talking about it. Like, you know, you don't have to have the conversation with anybody else. But you know, when we're done with this, maybe later on, see if you can maybe you're just sitting there, you can say, all right, let me see how much the things that we learned tonight, let me see how much I can just spit off. Not the same way, you don't need to memorize any of it, but let me just see how much I can, recall, and just practice talking about these things, because it's very important. I promise you, I can get jobs that are way out of my league, because I've learned the what's and the whys, and I have enough experience to where I've seen enough situations to where I can really talk about these things or speak about these things, in a way that I do know what's going on. I do understand it, but maybe I've never implemented the type of solution that they need. But you can, like I said, you can really take yourself pretty far, just knowing how to speak about what you're learning about. So just wanted to say that because we're going over a lot of informational things right now. What's the baseline in tech? Great question. There's a lot of different avenues in tech, a ton of different avenues in tech. Yeah, I mean, if you go like help desk route, you know, it can be pretty low in comparison to the rest of the tech industry. Again, that's baseline, but there are also help desk positions paying $70,000-$80,000 as well. But I mean, the lowest stuff I see is probably around $12 an hour for more support roles. They're generally support roles. So that's kind of baseline if you're gonna go that route. But yeah, I mean, salary rise for most, like, it depends on where you're located in the country as well, or in the world. But you know, I would say generally, you know, salary wise for most roles that aren't hourly, probably mid 40s is probably baseline for most things that I see. But then they can get pretty crazy high. So yeah. DevOps here in PA, I see all the time 7120. Oh yeah, when we're talking about DevOps, we're gonna look at some job descriptions a little bit later. We're talking about DevOps and site reliability engineering. They're definitely on the they get to be to the upper end of the scale for tech. And again, that's why we like to talk about these things. The other reason we like to dive into these bigger concepts like DevOps, infrastructure, automation, site reliability engineering is because you can get jobs off of pieces of this, like off of, we went through the 12-week the 12-week DevOps course. You can get jobs off of just knowing Linux. You can get jobs you can get release management jobs just understanding, you know, source control strategies and things. You can get jobs off of knowing, again, pieces of things. You can work in a NOC by just knowing monitoring and logging and kind of understanding a little bit of networking. So you can learn pieces of these things and you can work in roles in an effort to get to these places. So that's why we like to focus on these bigger level concepts, because it exposes you to a lot of different things. So let's hop into the good stuff. And this is a conversation. This is not me telling you what these things are. This is a conversation. So if you have any input, again, feel free to throw it in the chat. You know, we're gonna keep moving as fast as we can just because of time, but like, you know, throw the stuff out there. If you disagree with something, tell us why you disagreed. Again, do it respectfully, but tell us why you disagree or why you think it might be different, and we will discuss it. The conversation's really good. So, Joe Fly. Okay, I'll keep that question. I will definitely answer that in a second. Yeah, we'll talk about it. That's good stuff. That's the stuff that we're going to be talking about tonight. So, what is DevOps? According to Wikipedia, it's a clipped compound of the word development and operations. So, dev and the ops, so development, operations, software development methodology that combines software development with information technology ops. This doesn't tell us anything. It doesn't tell us anything. It just combined the word and it says, hey, it's just something that has them both. Great. Sounds exciting. Is that what it is? So Nathan Harvey, I had his name spelled wrong for a long time. I feel bad about that. He's pretty big in the DevOps community. Man, it helps run a lot of DevOps days in Baltimore and DC and stuff. I think he works for Google right now. He used to work for Chef. But he came out and said DevOps is a cultural, keyword there, and professional movement focused on how we build and operate high velocity organizations, born from the experiences of its practitioners. Notice how there's nothing technical in there at all. The keywords there are cultural. Movement, cultural and movement are really the two big things in here. And the last line, which is born from the experiences of its practitioners. DevOps has nothing to do with what you do. It has everything to do with how you do it. So it is an underlying change to the way that you do things, your processes, and to how you deliver software to help you move faster. And so that's really the only thing I want you to get out of this is that DevOps is not this technical skill that you learn. It is a cultural movement, and it's learning, you know, the processes and the ways that you would do something are kind of are kind of at the forefront of what DevOps really is. We'll talk about how that differs from real world practice of DevOps, but I just think it's good for you to know that now, because again, in an interview, it might sound really great if you start talking about how DevOps, is very specifically this cultural movement that kind of, really shapes and changes the way that organizations deliver software, and it's born out of, the experiences of things that the engineers have done before. So what does all this kind of mean, and why does DevOps kind of exist? And who asked this? Joe Flu asked an amazing question. Why is DevOps necessary? Sounds like just a sysadmin role. I'll tell you this right off the bat. None of any of this is necessary. None of it's necessary. We could still be doing things the way that we did it years ago, but there are, there's everything you do is a trade-off. There are trade-offs to everything that you do. And if we were still doing things the old ways, which we're going to talk about, we just wouldn't be able to move as fast for some of these things, but we'll dive into that. So this is a generic image of what generally would happen. So the business will say, hey, we need this digital product because it will drive business. They will create some requirements, and these right here, these dividers, are the proverbial walls that separate the departments. So your business people, think of an idea, they'll take those requirements, they'll say, hey, we need, this form that takes in this information, and so that we can process it. It needs to be able to process it and do this stuff, send out some emails. They say, cool, we need this, throw it over the wall. They know nothing about what it takes to implement that. They've had no conversations about, the constraints your system has, how that's going to change other things. They say, hey, we need this stuff, toss it over the wall to the development team. The development team gets it. They say, cool, we have little context here, but we're gonna make what you want. You wanted it, we're gonna make it. Not really understanding how it fits into the overall organization, or organizational direction, any of that stuff. And they build a thing. They just build the thing, make it work, code it out, make it work. Great. Once it's done, they package it up and throw it over another proverbial wall to the operations people, who are there to manage the systems and to make sure things are working. This is traditionally has been a very adversarial relationship. Why? The development team, their whole job is to give the company new things. They're there so that the company can create new products, to make them money, to create engagement, whatever it is, they just want to create new things. Operations, on the other hand, is looking to stay stable. Operations job is to, hey, I need to make sure these things are up and working and stable. And so those two things don't go together. All the new stuff, implementing new stuff into a stable system, is not how you keep it stable, to be 100% honest. And so there's always been, again, like I said, that adversarial relationship. Operations knows nothing about how or knows very little about how this application works. Development doesn't really understand how it's being shared out to all the people. And it's, again, this is how a lot of people still do it. And it was always problematic when things were like, if a problem were to happen over here in the operation side of things, they toss it back over the wall and say, hey, this release does not work. All we can tell you is here's some logs, it ain't working, take it back, fix it. And they just toss it back over for the development team to resolve, to add in hot fixes, bugs, and they pass it back. Crazy. Not crazy, but like, that's just how things have been done. Their roles are designed to do different things, and that's how, again, traditionally things kind of work. And DevOps fixes this. DevOps is supposed to fix this. I'm not gonna say it fixes it. I'm gonna say it's supposed to fix this. And so what are some of the issues with that old way? Long release and feedback cycles. So because the development team is kind of working the way they want to work and then passing it off to the operations team, pretty long release cycles and feedback cycles. So it would take a while for new things to get released, and it would take a while for you to understand the outcome of a release and understanding what a release effect a release had. A long mean time to fix. Why does it take a long time to fix? Because the people who have access to the production systems, the people who are managing those things, are not the same people who are fixing the problems. So if you're waiting all this time to do things and you're passing it over the wall, there's a communication breakdown. And so we pass something over the wall, we deploy it, it is broken, we pass it back. Now that people have to work on it again and then toss it back over the wall to get deployed. And again, it takes longer to be able to fix issues that arise. You're generally reactive to production issues, so you're waiting for things to happen and you're responding to them as they happen, rather than putting in improvements so that you can stop these things before they start. Few to no people understand the entire SDLC implementation. This is, to me, the biggest piece of everything right here. This line right here: few or no people understand the entire SDLC implementation. The SDLC is the software development lifecycle, and this is the lifecycle of software, how it gets, again, from the person's computer out into production, and what that looks like. How do you get that feedback? What that entire lifecycle of the software is very important. This is where I think the biggest value of DevOps comes in. But when you don't have this, again, there are individual people who are responsible for different pieces of the system, and they only really care about their piece of the system. And that's problematic. That means that when there's a breakdown, it's everyone trying to pass off blame to, this is not my piece of the system. This is your piece of the system that's broken. You need to take care of it. And no one really understands how it all works together. And this bullet point is what you'll get paid for. If you can understand that full software development lifecycle process, how it gets from the computer out into production, and truly understand that, people will pay you lots and lots of money to know that. And I think that's what you should be focusing on throughout this course, understanding that. And then it creates an adversarial IT environment. And so back to the question that was asked before: why is it needed? It's not necessary, but it helps to solve these things in a world where we want to move very quickly. The technology nowadays enables us to move very quickly, and so this is a process that has been created to help us move faster. Is it the best? Is it the end all be all? I don't know, but it does help. I came from this old way world. I lived this. And I've also participated in DevOps in a number of different implementations, and it really does help organizations move faster. It helps you as an engineer not have to worry about stuff. Like, it really does help a lot. Looking forward to this work. Numerous software jobs. Yeah, I mean, I really do love what DevOps represents. I definitely love what it represents. Again, let me be clear. Every company does not think of DevOps the same way. This is kind of what DevOps is supposed to be. And there are a lot of caveats within this. Hey, I don't know what that question was to. That'll take a lot of time. I don't remember what that was for. I'm sorry, I missed that. Hey, hi Patrick. If you want to develop in prod, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it if you can release quickly to prod. I don't think there's a problem if you can release very quickly to prod, and you have you're not risk averse. If it's okay for you to have bugs, it's not a big deal. You don't have a big revenue generating website. I'm with it. I get it. I don't think it's that terrible of a thing, to be 100% honest. People always think that's weird to say, but if you can deploy in 5 minutes, and your site isn't, your bread and butter, and it having a problem for 10 minutes is gonna put you out of business, then if you have to do it. All right, so this is kind of the DevOps, generic DevOps workflow. And so you can see it's an infinity loop, so you don't really know where to start because it kind of just continues. But you start out with planning. You plan out what needs to be done, how you're going to attack it, what you're going to do. Then the code is written. So you write the code, great. The code, after the code is written, it is built, it is tested, it is released. Releasing and deploying, I've seen people be really confused about this. Just super quick, we will absolutely cover this. We're going to spend significant time doing CI and CD and CD. There are 2 CDs there. But releasing is releasing the the tangible assets that can be deployed. So just imagine you package up your code into a zip file, and that is the release. All right, I'm releasing this code to be used in production, but it doesn't mean it's actually deployed out there. It's just there and it's ready. And deployment is actually getting it out onto those systems. Operate is when it's running in production. You monitor it, see how it's doing, seeing how it's working, seeing how the changes that taking in metrics on how the changes you made, seeing if it's doing the thing that you wanted to do, and then you start it all over. You take that information from the monitoring and gathering those metrics, it feeds back into the planning, and you iterate, and you write new code, you build it, you test it, you release it, deploy it, let it live out there, monitor it, take that information, lead back into planning, and do it all over again. Yes. Do you release in dev first? Yes. We're going to talk about deployment strategies. You probably deploy into dev first. We'll talk about promotion strategies. So promotion strategies are how you promote code through a hierarchy of environments. So maybe all the developers develop on their local computer first, and then maybe when it's ready to be tested somewhere, maybe it goes into a development server, and then maybe after that it goes into a staging server that's like almost like production, but it's kind of a safe place where there's not quite as much churn as the development server. And then after it's been tested there, it then moves into production. We are going to talk about those promotion strategies for sure. All right, so key DevOps principles. DevOps has some key principles here. Breaking down silos is the biggest one. Silos were those walls, those proverbial walls we had back here. It's breaking these things down so that we just talk, let's just talk about these things. Like, development and operations shouldn't be adversarial. They're a team. Same thing for business. Like, we're all a team. We're working for, we need this company to make money so we can get paid. Very, very important. And, you got to make sure you break down those silos so that we can talk, and so that more people. The reason why you want to break these down is communication first. The second piece is that when you do break those down, more people have a bigger understanding of that software development lifecycle. They, just by sheer, what is it called when you're, close to tangentially associated? I don't know, whatever. Sometimes we know big words, sometimes we don't. But just being next to those people. If you're a designer, I've learned so much about design from just having conversations with a designer on my team. I've learned all about design now because of that, and more people have deeper understanding. They may not know the whole thing, but now they'll know a much bigger piece of that life cycle, which does in fact help a lot. Automate all the things. This is a key DevOps principle. Why do you want to automate all the things? People make mistakes. Computers are great. Computers are pretty fast and pretty efficient, and they do things, you generally do things better than us. Why would you want to do extra work? Automate as much as you can. If you have to do it more than once, absolutely you should automate it, even if you're gonna only do it once. If it's a big task, make sure you automate it. That's a key here. And that's the part where people get super scared. That's the part where people, honestly, this number 2 piece, automate all the things. A lot of companies simply want, for DevOps engineers, they simply want a systems administrator, someone who knows how to manage infrastructure and servers, who can do some automation, who can do a little bit of coding, is what a lot of companies want as a DevOps engineer, and that is okay. The DevOps engineering role is a spectrum. There's a spectrum, and the spectrum goes, I know it sounds crazy, but the word is DevOps. The spectrum goes from developer all the way to operations. So like, there are DevOps engineers who come straight from a software background, and they do everything as if they would do it as a software engineer, and they just have a good understanding of infrastructure, so they're able to implement those concepts there. And there's a lot of DevOps engineers who come from the operation side of things as well, and have learned a little bit of coding, a little bit of automation to be able to implement the things they need to implement. So there's a big range there, a big spectrum, and you can end up anywhere you want to end up along it. But automate all the things is the part that I think makes it scary for a lot of people. We'll talk about how you can do those things. A lot of what we're going to be doing is this. This is not just for DevOps. These things aren't just for DevOps, but yes, we're focusing on that right now. Failure is an opportunity to learn. Someone said, we just develop in production. I don't advise that, but failure, not being afraid. When you build these pipelines. When you know, I said it, that's the word, you know, we're doing pipelines. You know, when you're building these pipelines, that's the course. If you believe in that pipeline, if that pipeline helps you deliver software quickly, then it's okay for you to fail, to have issues. It's okay for something to not work, because you can iterate, you can pivot, and you can adjust quickly, and it's not a problem. You know, the project that I just left, you know, we could deploy to production from commit to production was about an 8-minute window, and so it wasn't a huge issue. We weren't super afraid for releases. We didn't have to wait weeks to release things, because hey, if we get it out there and we get the feedback and discover there are issues, we will resolve it. We will write the code to resolve it, and we will quickly deploy. We will iterate quickly to get those things fixed. So that's all you kind of got to worry about there. Every failure is an opportunity to learn, and so you take that feedback, you make changes, whether it's process, whether it's, you know, you figure out where things went wrong, and you make it better. That's all it really is there. Let's see, I can't keep up with you guys. Are doing exactly what I asked of you. You're having lots of great conversations. I love it. I love to see it, for sure. TechOps role, we manage automation, CI/CD for infrastructure, but a separate DevOps team to handle CI. Yeah. Yes. We're going to talk about star ops. We're going to talk about all the different ops things that exist, and kind of how they're all similar. But yes, yes, we're going to finish out these DevOps concepts and stuff, and then we're going to talk about the differences between, again, DevOps, SRE, sysadmin, all those things. It's also easier to understand the differences between all of them once you have a good understanding of one. And again, I think DevOps is the biggest buzzword, so I think it helps to know this. And again, if you saw a Venn diagram of all of them, like, there's a huge amount of overlap. Like 70% of it is overlap, so this stuff will help. The key concepts of DevOps. So those were key principles. The key concepts. These are a lot of things we're going to be covering. Programming automation is number one. Being able to automate as much as possible, and to implement, software solutions when it fits. That's the biggest. So that concept is the biggest concept, at least in my eyes, of site reliability engineering. It is really implementing software concepts when you can, to make your infrastructure more reliable and more robust. OS concepts, so operating system concepts, understanding how to manage a system, understanding how to manage a Linux computer, a Windows computer, server, and make it, understanding how those things work, how storage works, how networking works, all that stuff. So server management, that was underneath. Networking and security, very, very important. We're talking about a world of cloud, the internet. All the internet is networked computers. So networking and security are very important. Security is crazy important right now. So just that's a part of it. Just understanding, you don't got to be a security engineer, but understanding, how to not give away people's stuff super easily is helpful. CI, CD, continuous integration, continuous delivery, continuous deployment. We're going to cover that extensively. All these concepts are here. Generally, when people are talking about DevOps, they're talking about programming automation. They're talking about CI/CD. They're talking about the cloud, CI/CD, and a little bit of programming. That is generally what everyone's talking about. CI/CD it's how do I make sure that the code that the developers are writing, how do we make sure that it is safe? How do we make sure that it works the way it's intended to work? How do we get it integrated into the rest of the code that other people are writing? And how do we get it deployed out to where it needs to go? So big concepts there, a lot of tools that enable this. Infrastructure as code. This is a part of the automation section as well. So nowadays with the cloud, we can now write code in the same way that we will write application code. We can write code to manage our infrastructure, to create and manage our infrastructure. So the reason why that's exciting is traditional ops, if you are in the cloud, or if you are using even if you're on-prem, if your setup allows for it, you can manage your code in the same exact way that you would manage your application code, the same way that you would manage your infrastructure, which is super helpful. It provides inherent documentation. It's really nice. It's a really good way of doing things. We're going to be doing a lot of infrastructure as code stuff because I believe that infrastructure as code is one of the biggest pieces of what most companies want out of a DevOps engineer. And so again, it's basically declaring real physical web assets as code, and using that to manage your stuff instead of hands-on logging into servers, changing things. You do that through code instead, which is cool. Cloud computing is a big DevOps principle, and observability. Now, you don't need to use the cloud for DevOps. You can absolutely practice DevOps in a non-cloud environment, but the cloud is one of the things that spurred the DevOps movement. Cloud computing is a key concept and a pillar, but it is applicable whether or not you are in the cloud. So don't sweat that too much. At the end of this, what roles will we likely be ready for? Great question. I think you'll absolutely be ready, especially if you already have some experience. I think you will be ready for a surprising amount of DevOps roles, because again, all DevOps roles aren't created equally. I think you'll have the tools necessary to walk into a DevOps role after this. I think that so I have interesting concepts. I have interesting thoughts about specifically site reliability engineering. And so we're gonna talk about that in a second. So maybe I'll save my comments for that piece. But I think that you'll be able to deal with a role that's probably any role that's kind of like infrastructure-y, cloudy. I think you'll at least be able to go confidently into an interview and be able to have good conversations after this. And this covers whole star op stuff. Yeah. Build a CI/CD pipeline for one specific app or one pipeline for multiple apps. Build a CI/CD pipeline for one specific app or one for multiple apps. I generally build a different pipeline for every single application, because we're going to get into some of these concepts a little bit later about how you manage your services. And yeah, I mean, nowadays with the tooling, it's super easy to, it takes no time to set up a pipeline. You can do it in a couple minutes, to be honest, to get a simple pipeline set up. And so, yeah, pipeline for each of your apps. I mean, it can be the same, it can be a similar pipeline or the same pipeline, even like the same, like mirrored structure, but different pipelines for sure. Okay. This is a key thing because everyone thinks about all of the tooling. Everyone, when you think about DevOps, you start to think about all of the technical pieces. You're thinking about tools, and DevOps is a culture. It's a culture, but it is enabled by the tooling. It wouldn't be a thing without the tooling. So the tooling is important to DevOps culture, but it's not the tools. It is, it's the culture, but it's enabled by the tooling, and the tools simply help you solve specific problems. There are categories of problems that you want to learn about, that you're going to be solving for, and so that's going to be what you're going to be spending the time learning. You're going to first have to learn what these categories of things are, and then you'll start to learn which tools fit into which category. You absolutely do not need to go through and memorize these things, but once you do start to get them a little bit more, it does help. It helps you understand when someone introduces a brand new tool to you. Once you know what category it goes into, you know what it does. You're able to explain what problems it solves, and it's overwhelming. It absolutely is overwhelming. It is overwhelming. And so I think I don't have the slide in here, but this can be seen by when we went over the DevOps introduction to DevOps course. Yes, the tools do absolutely change constantly. It's really annoying. And so this is why I don't want you to learn tools. This is why we're not going to be focusing on tools. We're focusing on the concepts here. And this is why I like this on roadmaps.sh, this DevOps roadmap. The reason why I like this is they do overwhelm you with the amount of tools, but if you just stay down the middle and learn the programming language, understanding different OS concepts, learn about managing a server, live in a terminal, networking and security. I think it does a good job of staying along those major concepts. Because again, infrastructure as code, there are tons of different infrastructure as code tools. Look at all these. There's so many infrastructure as code tools. There's more than this. And it can be super confusing. You do not need to learn all these tools. Generally, I advise people to start learning one tool in a category. Pick the category. You'll start to learn through your DevOps journey what those categories are. Pick a tool. You don't need to be a master at it. Just understand how it solves this problem, and just keep moving along. And this is a really helpful thing here, if you want to look through it. But the tools are overwhelming, and I want to acknowledge that. Like, I absolutely want to acknowledge that this stuff it's confusing, but when you get into it, it's not as confusing as I think people like that it gives off. I think it's confusing for two reasons. One, the sheer amount of things that people are asking for, that people can have you learn, the sheer amount of tooling you see here. And go back to that original definition that Nathan gave us. The last line was that it's born from the experiences of its practitioners. I think DevOps is overwhelming for a lot of people because they try to dive straight in. Your experience matters. Your experience in software, your experience in systems, wherever you've come from, your experience matters. Now, if you're someone who is like, hey, I'm just diving into this stuff, I want to be very clear, it's going to make it a little bit tougher because there are so many concepts here. There's so many different things here. It is going to make it tougher, but that is okay. The end of the road isn't a DevOps job. Like, people are always like, oh yeah, let me get this DevOps or SRE job, I'm getting into DevOps. No, you can make a lot of money on your journey there. You can make tons of money on your journey there. Pick up the tools. Again, like I said, hey, go learn Linux and a little bit of a configuration management tool, and you have a great job making a lot of money, and that's taking you farther and farther on your journey. So I think we like to think of this linear timeline, like I'm gonna learn all these things and I'm gonna get the job. No. There's, it's just a big pile of stuff, and you're picking up stuff from here and here and here, and you're putting these tools together in your head, and you're going somewhere and you're showing someone, hey, I know these things, and they'll give you a job doing something. I don't want people to think about this as I gotta learn all these things and then I can go get the job. It's too hard to do if you do it that way. So last thing is, well, we talked about all that stuff. What the heck is site reliability engineering? I'm only going to give you the definition here, but this doesn't matter to me. We're going to break it down. But it's a discipline that incorporates aspects of software engineering, I think that's the key part there, and applies them to infrastructure and operations problems. The main goals, this is key, the main goals are to create scalable and highly reliable software systems. So the goal of site reliability engineering are the systems. It's to create these reliable software systems. That is the main focal point. DevOps, the key is not the systems. The key is helping the organization. It's really helping the developers develop as fast as they want to be able to develop. That's the difference. For site reliability engineering, the focus is the systems. It's creating highly scalable and reliable systems. DevOps, you may be doing some of that. You absolutely may be doing some of that, but that's not your focus. Your focus is helping set up the processes and things for the code, for the software to be developed, and to get it to where it needs to be. So different focuses there, tons of overlap. Absolutely. People who do, if you're going to be doing site reliability engineering, you may be doing everything that you do in DevOps. You may be setting up those pipelines, but you also may be making sure the systems are up and reliable and set up how they need to be set up. Same thing, you may be doing DevOps and you may be responsible for the reliability of the systems. So you may be doing all those things. A lot of places, that's how it works. A lot of places, the title might be SRE, the title might be DevOps. You may be doing all of those things, which is very frustrating. But again, the main focus of them is different. Generally, this is a very general statement. SRE is generally designed, or people who hire for SRE roles are generally larger companies, where I think it has a little bit to do with scale. So if it's a company, that has, a lot, where you're going to be managing lots of servers, or maybe servers that are sprawled across the world even, I think that's generally when they start to look for reliability engineers, people who are focused on the reliability of the systems. But again, tons of overlap between them both. I'm confident, you know, I'm a DevOps engineer now, and I have been in only DevOps engineering roles. I've been in one SRE role that was titled SRE role. I'm very confident that if I wanted to go get a job right now, I would look for both DevOps and SRE roles, and I would be confident in my ability to interview for both of them. Like I said, tons of overlap, but their goals are different. The goals are different. Yeah, the goals are supposed to be different, you know. At face value, the goals are supposed to be different. Companies don't really understand these things. They are picking and choosing, and they're just, you know, writing these job descriptions, and, you know, don't rely on a company knowing what they want at all. You need to be well versed in these things for your own good. You can outsmart all these companies. Most companies have no idea what they want. That's part of what Mastermind is around to do, is to help these companies, like, look, do not put out this job description saying you want this site reliability engineer, you know, with 10 years of experience, when you guys have 4 cloud servers. Like, you don't need, this is not what you need. You like, yes, we can keep the job title the same, but let's start making sure you understand what it is that you actually need and what problem you're trying to solve by hiring this person. And so let's take a look at some of these things. Now, I will tell you this, generally site reliability engineering nets you more money. But also, generally, site reliability engineering, I found, especially in interviews, that site reliability engineering roles are code heavier. You know, right here it said, one of the first lines is, it's a discipline that incorporates aspects of software engineering and applies them to infrastructure. I found that SRE roles are software heavier. Their focus, it's really weird because their focus is more on the infrastructure. They focus more on the infrastructure, but their solutioning is code heavier, in my experience, like custom code heavier, rather than using a tool like a configuration management tool or something to make things easier. And so it's always pretty interesting when we're talking about that. It's really code heavy. Is it scripting? No. So yes, scripting is going to be there in all of these roles. Code heavier as in like genuinely writing applications to support infrastructure processes, like actually writing. They're developers. A lot, not all of them. A lot of them are essentially developers who just write code that supports infrastructure rather than, you know, a web app or something. And again, that's the same thing in some DevOps roles, but yeah, middleware, tools, writing a lot of tools. But yeah, I was actually really surprised about that because the focus was on infrastructure. The very first SRE interview I ever went to, I killed it because I have a lot of infrastructure experience, and I've managed a bunch of infrastructures at different scales of different places. So I have a lot of experience doing that. But I killed that. I killed all that. I killed that part of the interview. I think I went to 2 rounds, and we got to the part they were like, hey, yeah, like now I need you to write. I forgot I remember exactly what they asked me, but it was like a tool to solve this very specific storage problem. Like, it was weird. It was really weird. And I was like, write a tool. Like, I can script something out for you, but I was, at that time, I was not capable of doing that. It was very interesting. All of the roles aren't like that, but again, that is something that I've seen. If you've seen different, throw it out there, you know? I appreciate that. Ellie William, IE. I don't know if that's IE or Ellie, but thank you. It does feel pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Feels pretty darn good. So actually developing bespoke software for the services. Yeah. So SRE is like a cloud engineer mixed with DevOps. So a cloud engineering is also a really vague term as well, but yes, I think generally kinda it's really tough because, like I said, generally I see that SREs work at a bit of scale, a scale that's different from a lot of places, and so I don't really want to call that a cloud engineer, because like cloud engineers there are tools to help cloud engineers do things they need to do. Generally, I mean, I don't know. It gets really nuanced. They're all, like I said, very similar, but I find that site reliability engineering is a little more code heavy than the other ones. So infrastructure engineering, actually let's not Glassdoor, let's go to what's the main job site that everyone, Indeed. This is gonna be nice because we can see some salaries as well. But let's start to look at if we start to look at some of them. No, I don't. This is not what I want to do. Come on, don't do this to me. Yeah, let's go find jobs. Okay. And, you know, we have some salary information here, and while it won't let me scroll over, they don't like me on here. But you can see that this is an estimate, but a lot of money, you know, a good amount of money. But you'll start to see that if you click into them, the things that they want are going to sound very similar to things that they want in DevOps or cloud engineering or infrastructure engineering or systems administration. You know, strong Linux systems administrators skills, you know, full competency in one language. Give me a language here. Microservices. We're going to talk about microservices here. Distributed systems. Look, you know what? Just to show you that, you know, I'm not full of it. You know, I know a little bit of what I'm talking about. If we look at the journey here and we go to pipelines, come on, load on up Notion page. What are we going to be talking about? We are going to be talking about distributed systems right here, and we're going to be talking about what's the other thing they asked for? That's for distributed system microservices. I think one of these days we're going to be talking about microservices. It's in here somewhere. Maybe one of these days we're going to be doing some microservice stuff. But yeah, we're going to be talking about all this stuff. So you'll know this stuff, service meshes. You didn't know about that right now. Kubernetes. But yeah, I want you to actually start to, if you're just starting this journey, or even if you've been on it for a little while, you're not sure, you know, what path you're going to take. Seriously, take an afternoon, take 2 hours, look through as many of these as you can look through. And I want you to start to write down the different tools. So write down the different concepts people are asking for, the requirements, and I guarantee you'll start to see a big heat map of specific things. You'll start to see things like containers. You'll start to see things like the cloud. You'll start to see things like, you know, delivery pipelines. You'll see all these kind of things over and over again, Linux and Amazon, and like you'll start to get to specific tooling like this, and it'll get really easy to start to see that, hey, these are all different jobs. They all are utilizing the same suite of tools, the same things to implement solutions, but generally those solutions are solving different problems. Generally, again, all of it's generally, because every company is going to have something different. And every company thinks of these roles as different things. But like I said, site reliability engineering nets a little bit more. So if I do a site reliability engineer salary, it's gonna show something higher, whatever site you go to. Let's go to Glassdoor. You know, it's gonna, on average, it's gonna show a little higher than DevOps. And Glassdoor, Verizon. Wait, where's Glassdoor for just DevOps? Well, this, let's duplicate and duplicate again, and we'll do no. It really made me sign in. That's whack. So gonna refresh for me. All I want to do is type in a new thing. So DevOps, you know, 99 on average, you know, and again, this changes. This is not the end all be all. This is simply, you know, a generic national average. Changes everywhere you go. We can type in something like infrastructure engineer here and see what this nets us. Maybe nets us a little bit more, 80,000. And then we can go from DevOps to something like a systems administrator. And what's salaries? I don't know why Glassdoor is doing this to me. It goes down to 64. You can absolutely, I had a job that was a systems engineering role. It was titled a systems engineer, maybe 6 years ago, and it was a 6-figure job. So, you know, but I was doing really DevOpsy things there, and it was a 6-figure role. So, you know, I wouldn't be hung up on the job title, unless you're just trying to maximize how much you make. And if you're trying to maximize how much you make, I'm just telling you right now, you should be going the SRE route, because it will, just the title alone helps you make more money, which is super odd. It's so weird. And you might even be doing less than what you did before, but I think it's important to look at those things. I think it's important to see those things. I also think it's important to to start to get information about salaries, especially in your area. One, so that you know, start to understand how to go through the process of negotiating your own salary. But I think salary transparency is pretty important, and I think one of the things we should do is get away from the stigma of talking about money and how much, you know, how much people are getting paid. I think that stuff is important. I think that stuff is very important. I actually don't really understand why it's so frowned upon to talk about it. I mean, I guess for a company's sake, I understand why, but like, I don't know. I think it's something that people should be talking about more. A lot more, actually. And we shouldn't be ashamed. Like, I think people are ashamed of how much they ashamed of like talking about it and, you know, disclosing how much they make. And I think that's weird. Like, you know, we don't work for fun. I don't work for fun. Like, you work because you want to make money. The reason you're studying these things is, yeah, you might enjoy what you do, but at the end of the day, you want to earn money. You want to be paid for what you're doing. Like, you know, these are skills that are valuable. And I don't know. I think we should talk about those things a lot more. Olga, welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for the raid. Hello everyone who came from Olga's channel. Olga, what were you doing today on your stream? I really do appreciate you coming through. We just talked about DevOps. We are just starting a new journey, learning about DevOps, site reliability engineering, how to deliver software, how to manage those things. And now we're just talking, you know, we're talking money. The thing that people love and hate the most. I think money is really important. Yeah, I mean, in full transparency, I'll absolutely talk about that's actually really good. Let me go to my LinkedIn and I'll talk to you about my salary progression, because I think that's pretty important. You may not have the same thing. We'll talk about where these jobs were, where I was located. We'll talk about, I do think it's very important that if you're going to talk about salary with anyone, you need to talk about one of the two things you need to disclose are years of experience is important. It is important to the conversation. Location is probably the most important piece of the conversation. So I think those things are pretty important. So if you are going to talk about those, talk about those. And so this is my LinkedIn. I actually have roles. I've worked at roles that aren't on here. And let's talk about this real quick because we have a little bit of time. I think it's going to be fun to talk about a little bit. So my very first role as a desktop support engineer was at the National Institutes of Health. I actually started before 2009, but I was an IT assistant, IT automation assistant, helping people fix their sound issues on their computers, Windows 7 stuff, lots of help desk support stuff. I worked there, I interned there. It was pretty cool. I made $12 and something this first year, then it went up to like $13 per hour this time, and it was full-time, and it was something like $13.80 or something the last bit of time that I was there. So I spent a couple years there. CS degree will give you a 7. I do not have a CS degree. I don't have a CS degree, but this stuff helped a lot. These were full-time roles as an intern, but pretty cool. So if you can get yourself I'll say this, I working at the federal government was very interesting. It was a good place to learn safely, but a lot of people go there and get stuck. I'm glad I decided to get out of there when I did. They offered me, when I was kind of done with my intern stuff, they offered me a full-time role. I'm glad I got out of there, to be 100% honest, just because the breadth of technical things you see there are just different. It's pretty low. They move pretty slow as well, so it can kind of set you back a little bit. So I would be careful about that when you're choosing roles. A weird role can really set you back, where you'll have to you're not stuck at all, but you'll have to go off to the side and learn, you know, a lot of things you're on to kind of keep on your own to keep going. So yeah, so about, you know, this was 10 years ago. I was making about $13 an hour. Then I was a business intelligence intern, where I did like IT stuff, and then I was supposed to do like some stuff with Tableau software and stuff. I'm not gonna lie, I hated this role a lot. I despised it. And I made like $15 an hour. I think no. I was salary for this. That was interesting. I was making $40,000. I would make $40,000. Yeah, I remember that. I remember when I took it home to my mom, and she was like, dang, like you're still in school. Like I was super excited about it. I didn't like it at all. But 40,000, that was that role. That was still no degree here. $40,000. But I didn't like the role. I hated it. I had no support there. And the dude who was the lead IT person, he was we're not gonna cuss on here, but he was a butthole. Okay, he was a booty hole. He was some boo boo. I disliked him a lot, to be honest, but it's all good. I mean, I don't even think he knows I disliked him, but we didn't have much interaction. When we did, it was always negative to me. But yeah, I felt rich I felt crazy rich at this point in my life. But then you know, then I took this role. This role was the role that really set my career off, to be honest. I worked as Linux server support at a NOC, basically, at a web hosting company called Servant. They don't exist anymore, I don't think. I think they got bought by somebody else. But they taught me Linux. They, you know, paid me crap money. They paid me crap money for what we were doing in the location we were doing it. This company was located in Northern Virginia, one of the richest counties in America. And I was driving from Baltimore to Northern Virginia in the worst traffic, paying tolls every day for $38,000 a year. Now, that was fine to me because I had very little bills. I was living with some friends. I was paying like $300 a month rent. I had no student loans or anything like that. I had really no bills at the time. I had just bought a Mustang because, you know, I could, because I didn't really have any bills, but I was filling up my gas like every 2 days. It sucked. I was paying tolls. I have a bigger story about the tolls. The tolls going to this job actually cost me tens of thousands of dollars in the long run, which, oh man, you know, life's better now. But $38,000 is what I did, and I did that for over a year. I really love the people I met there. I actually work with some of them now at the place I was just at. But Baltimore to there every day. On Fridays, I would stay and play my Xbox, because if I left during rush hour, it would take me 3 hours to get back. Then I left there. So I left this company, and this is why I tell people they should, you know, learn what you can at a job, spend time taking what you can learn, but move on when you're ready. Move on when you're ready, because I didn't double it, but I went from 38,000 here. I did have full benefits and everything to this place, Edge Web Hosting in Baltimore. So I lived in Baltimore, so basically no commute, really nice. And when I went there, I was making 58. I went from 38 to 58. So that was pretty wild to me, pretty out of control to me. I thought I was filthy rich. No one could tell me anything. I thought I was the best person ever. You know, worked at it was a bigger web hosting company. They worked with more enterprise clients, and I was doing lots of Linux stuff. I mean, to the point where when I got there, I was actually teaching. I actually taught a little course to the people there on Linux, because they had a lot of Windows servers as well. Learned some Windows stuff there as well, which was pretty cool. So that was definitely a cool role. While I was working here full time, because of the stuff that happened here with this tolls and Easy Pass, I got a second full-time job. So I actually worked as a NOC systems administrator, and at ZeniMax Media, or ZeniMax Online Studios, ZOS. So Elder Scrolls Online, again, they were just bought by the parent company. ZeniMax was just bought by Microsoft today. But yeah, I worked there for the release of Elder Scrolls Online. I helped manage the servers there. 38K in tolls. those fines were crazy. I don't want to talk about it right now. We'll talk about it one day when we get a little bit more time. But NOC Systems Administrator. So I was making 58 here and I was making 55 here. I was working them both. This one was 4 days a week, 4 10-hour shifts. So it was Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, like into Saturday, 10-hour shifts. This one, the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and this one was this one also was 4 days a week. Started out as 4 10s, but it was over the weekend as well. So I overlapped a couple days. I worked every day. And so I was making, this was, during this time, I was making over $100,000. It was great. I thought I was rich. I was kind of miserable. I would there was a couple days a week where I would come home and I would get like 3 hours of sleep and then I would be back to work. But again, tech jobs, ZeniMax, they literally catered food for us and like you could play games at work and stuff. So it wasn't crazy stressful. And then this wasn't crazy stressful either. It was just you had to be there, which kind of sucked. And then I moved to the weekend shift. The weekend shift was great. 3 12-hour shifts made my life way easier. So I did both of these for a while. Then I left here for a while and only worked at ZeniMax for a little while. So 58, 50. Then there's actually two more roles that aren't in here, but I'm not gonna talk about those right now. Then I went to the Better Business Bureau. I said, hey, I don't want to work there anymore. I want to get into something a little more. I want to help build something a little bit bigger. Because ZOS was great, but they had other teams to build out the servers and stuff, and I didn't get to really do as much as I wanted there. Then I became a web operations engineer at the Better Business Bureau. Everyone thinks that is a government organization. It is not. It is a really big nonprofit. The Better Business Bureau has nothing to do with the government. But this was my first, this was really like a DevOps role. This was definitely more of a SRE role. Worked through a big data center migration there. I did a bunch of cool things there. I really liked it. My first remote job. And so I went from 58, 50, and 55. I got paid 75 here. 75 full benefits. Got paid 75 there. Had another job that I kind of worked as well, a sort of contracting role, where I got paid the equivalent of 88 in there as well. I worked a couple contracts in between all of these. There's like 6 or 7 6-month to 1 year contracts that I knocked off in between all of these as well. So there was a lot of experience there as well. Then I worked at VMed. This place was cool. It was my first startup experience. So this is where I got the SRE role. This was my first 6-figure single job. So this one was a little over 100K, like 102 or something like that. So that was cool. Then I had another one in between there, where I was making like 112 or something like that, 114. That was like also at the same time. They were about to go under, and I got wind of it and I left there. And then they fired all my friends that I met there, which kind of sucks, but that's the startup life. Nothing, they're fine. What's up, Sam? Thank you so much for the gifted subs. Really do appreciate it. But I do want to be clear here, exactly what you're doing here. You're all showing up, you're all looking to learn. When I tell you, when I started working here at the Better Business Bureau, this is when I was home. It was my first all remote job, and I moved back home with my parents to save money, and so I hated being in the house. So I would literally go to Starbucks and I would learn stuff. I would go to Starbucks and I would just I would watch 2 Netflix episodes and then I would go learn stuff. I learned so much stuff from 2015 to 2017. I was on a warpath of learning things. Docker, Ansible, Ansible a little bit, but Puppet at the time, bunch of stuff. I learned so much stuff during that time. So like I said, before I came to Fearless, where I started at 4 years ago, I was making about 115 at the place that it's not listed here. And so when I joined Fearless, actually, oh yeah, actually I might have left out a couple of different things, but when I came to Fearless, I actually took a pay cut to come to Fearless. My base salary was 88,000, and but I had where I live, because I moved to the city, a hub zone thing. I ended up with a even $100,000 salary. I wasn't I was more into the role because someone told me this company was great, someone I knew. I wanted to move closer to where I was. This was like an 8-minute commute from where I was, and I wanted to be a bigger part of a team. Like I wanted to work at a place where I was going to have where, you know, this was a small team, like an 8-person team, and we were responsible for everything. So at the time I was a DevOps engineer. I was the sole DevOps engineer, and so that really excited me. And so I learned a lot during that time. So like I said, that was my original salary. I kind of moved up while I was there. My base salary went up to, I think I went from a total of like 100K to like, then I went to like 117. And then I took the lead position. So it was a couple years before I took the lead position. And then I went to like 130 something, and then ultimately ended up right around the 150 mark. That I left with. So that was my progression. About a 10-year journey. Lots of steps. You do make more money when you leave places. I know, you know, it's easier to get more money when you leave. While I was here, but like I've been at Fearless for 4 years, only place that I stayed at for more than 2 years. If you look at this, I never stayed anywhere for 2 years, ever. But then I stayed here for 4 years. While I was here, I interviewed at other places, and I got offers 3 years ago for $160,000, and I didn't leave because of what I was learning, because of what I was getting from this company. And also everything isn't about money. You will learn that. It's hard for me to tell you that now, but everything isn't about money. You'll get to the point where you're comfortable, and there are other things that are important to you. And yeah, so I got $160,000 offers, plenty of 150 plus offers. And you know, the money's out there. The money is out there, but over a 10-year career, you can kind of see how some of that might go. I actually would think that if you are out here learning these things now, especially if you're just starting your journey, you're going to be operating on a different scale. I know a completely junior engineer, not completely junior anymore, but a junior engineer who, you know, is right at that 6-figure mark, with a few years of experience because of the way things have progressed and where they started. I started at the desktop support salary, you know, so I started a different place. You know, if you're starting learning these things, you know, the sky really is the limit for you. Really, it's really the limit for you. But I encourage you, like, I had a great time. All of them, like, you might be thinking about, oh, I can't wait to get to that 10-year mark. I had the most fun at like 2 and 3 year mark when I was, man, look, when I made $58,000, when I went from 38 to 58, I was the richest person. No one couldn't tell me that I wasn't the richest person out here. No one. I was richer than anyone. You could not tell me anything. Like I was just rich. Like I was rich. So, you know, make sure you live accordingly. You can have a great time. I seriously, the things that I do now and the things I did then, they're the same things. I just have more bills now. I have more responsibilities and more bills now. That's the difference. Like at that time, man, at 58K, I was like, man, that's when I was like, I don't know why all these people are out here working on. Oh man, I was partying all the time. Man, me and my friends would just go out. I was like, man, I had like I said, I had $200 rent. It was great. It was the best. But you know, times change. But again, I think it's important to talk about money because you're learning these things for a reason, and I think it helps guide where you, like, you know, what you want to work towards, what you want to work to. You know, everyone's idea of what a lot of money is different, and you know, maybe you're like, hey, like actually the thing that I love is in this realm. Maybe I love networking and I love how much network engineers make, and that is exactly where I want to, you know, spend my time working towards. It's important. I want you to know those things. I don't want you to spend time just learning technical skills because someone told you can make more money. I want you to know exactly how much money you can make potentially, and I want you to, you know, help you start to formulate a plan on how you can get there. So we'll talk about money all the time. We always end these journeys with a panel, and generally we get into some conversation about money. There are people on Twitter doing, you know, salary transparency stuff. You know, actually everyone go follow Engineering Bay on Twitter. She actually is doing this right now, I think. Let me engineering_bay. She's literally doing this right now. She has a whole salary transparency sheet thing that you can go put your stuff on if you want, but she tweets them out all the time. Let me copy link to profile. I will share, because again, resources are good. She tweets these things out all the time with information, the important information. company size, where it's located, big deal. Where it's located is a big deal. Everyone, I don't think I said that, I'm in Baltimore, Maryland. All of these roles were between, you know, DC and Baltimore. Northern Virginia, DC and Baltimore is where I'm located. Salary, you know, years of experience, all these things matter. Take those things into account. Follower, if you just want to see some of that stuff, because it is important. All right, last piece tonight, because I lied to you again, it's just getting you introduced to the role. Here's the role. So when you come back in on Wednesday, I want you to be in this mindset, because this is how we're going to set it up, and we'll always get ourselves back into this role at the beginning of every one of these classes. So what is the job? The job is, it's time to begin our new role. You've been accepted to a position at a medium-sized media company. So medium-sized media company, when I say media company, think something like medium.com, you know, a site that has some blogging, some stuff like that. They're also going to have a little bit of e-commerce as well to sell some goods. They're going to have a number of different little services that support their internal affairs as well. But while they have a stable and lucrative core product, which is going to be that main kind of website, they've been ramping up on an R&D. So R&D is research and development engineering team to rapidly build out prototypes and new tools and applications. Our job is to, one, empower that team with the processes, the tools, and the infrastructure to power these new ideas that they're going to be working on, as well as ensure the reliability of the company's bread-winning digital properties. All right. That's who you are. That's, you know, you've been given a role, and every time we come in, we're going to step back into this role, and we're going to start to think and talk about things from this point of view. We're starting a job at a mid-sized company. We'll figure out how many people are at it. We'll have names for people and everything. We'll figure out our own name as well. Or you can just be yourself. But yeah, so they have a thing. They have something that exists that is lucrative, that people are using, but they also have the need to be able to move quickly to try to pump out some new ideas and things as well. And so we're going to be setting up some pipelines, talk about different ways of architecting things. We're going to be talking about how to manage the existing application at scale, how to make it more robust and more reliable. You're going to learn about containerization and microservices and monoliths and all the other stuff. So you can figure out how you can approach these things in the future. The goal of this, though, is not to talk about what the right answer is for all this stuff. The goal here is simply to get introduced to these different concepts. Every decision that you all have to make is just a trade-off. That's something that I've learned from someone very important to me, is every decision is just a trade-off. There's never a right answer for the most part. Every decision is just a list of trade-offs. Take all those trade-offs into account and figure out which ones work. This is going to be more of an exploratory process into each of those things, and implementing solutions using those, using these things. So it's going to be pretty fun. Maybe I'm jumping the gun, but we set up our version control. But how will we set up our version control as an org? Great question. You are jumping the gun just a little bit. Isa boy, thank you so much for the congratulations. Thank you. I do appreciate that. Welcome. Hello. How are you doing today? But yeah, we will be talking about that stuff. So that's all today. We're basically done for the day, but what are we going to be doing on Wednesday when we come back? We're going to be hopping straight into it on Wednesday. We'll do some announcements at the beginning. We'll hop straight into it. But what are we going to be talking about on Wednesday? We are going to be talking about pipelines. I never remember. Are you posting slides? Yep. Just hit !! slides. You know what I'll do? I will add them to this page as well. Here we go. Check this out. Let's add them to the site right now. So if you go to academy.mastermind.io/pipelines, I'll put them on here so that anyone who's coming in, who's watching it late, can also get the slides. I'll take it right to the bottom. Let's add in a heading 1 slides, and we'll go heading 3 week 1 slides. And let's go ahead and let's take this and we'll paste them here after every class. So we'll paste that. And then that means all you got to do now is when you hit up the site, all you got to do is scroll to the bottom. And you can also get them from here whenever you want to get them live from the site. Oh yes, the site is // academy.mastermind.io/pipelines. There you go. That is the site right there. You can click on it. It's going to redirect you to this Notion page because that's where I'm hosting this information. Or you can hit !slides and you'll be able to grab the slides. But what we'll be doing the rest of the week, so we're gonna get right into the more technical things starting on Wednesday. We're gonna basically do a deep dive into the existing infrastructure. This company that we're all starting at, this role that we're starting, company already exists. They have some infrastructure already set up, real old school. You know, the person who set it up was a software dev, just making it work however they wanted to make it work. And they've been supporting that for a while now. And so we're going to dive into what that is. We'll make some infrastructure diagrams and everything. We'll talk a little bit more about the software development lifecycle and get introduced to that. And then we're going to deep dive a little bit into applications, not specifically this application, to applications period, how they work, different application paradigms, the way that most these applications work. We're going to talk about so that we can all be on the same page. That's what we do on Wednesday. And then we'll start to dive into, getting our developers all set up, and it will be great. It should be available on Twitch right after. Someone was telling me that Twitch, sometimes because of the music, sometimes they clear my sound out so you can't hear me, but it will be on YouTube. If you do !YouTube, it'll be on YouTube in 24 hours because I'm supposed to wait 24 hours, but it'll be up on YouTube in 24 hours. I'm actually going to render this out right now as soon as it's done. But that's it. Thank you everybody for coming tonight. We're about to head over and we're going to raid someone. If you want to stick around a little bit, usually I'll take, no matter how late we are, I'll take some time to answer some questions. But I have I got a little date with my wife, and by date with my wife, I mean we're gonna go sit on the couch and watch something. Now that I have a little bit more time, one of the things I want to make sure that I do, I've been working so much over the past year and a half. She's been super crazy supportive, to make sure that I make some time to spend with her, so I'm gonna go do that. If you're interested, tomorrow we're starting pipelines. You can simply go to the same website, academy.mastermind.io, and go to decoded. Sorry, not pipelines, decoded. And over here we do have it's a software engineering and computer science bootcamp, and so we're going to be diving into that tomorrow. It'll be a lot of the same stuff as we did today here, just kind of syllabus day stuff, but we'll get our development environment set up, get all of our runtimes installed, and we will talk about building CLI tools. So check it out. Oh, great question, about the bike ride. I had some, I'll post a picture. I had some mechanical difficulties, and I did not have the right tools to fix. I actually have some loose spokes, and there was an issue with the rim of, I run tubeless tires, and I was having trouble getting the bead seated when it ripped, and I didn't finish it, but I will be doing it within the next I'm gonna try it within the next 2 weeks. If I get my bike fixed in time, I'm gonna try it again. So yeah. Cool. You send that message on Discord. Excellent, CLD. I will get back to you very shortly. Like I said, now this is, I'm a full-time entrepreneur now. This is my focus, the Academy. You all are my focus. So I will be, I'm spending this week getting caught up. So just give me the week. Give me the week to get caught up with everything, all the stuff that's been building up over the past year. So I'm just getting caught up, and I'll make sure to get back to everyone. And it's going to be exciting. Appreciate that, Wamping Willow. Callow, what is up? Exclamation point, shout out to Callow. Again, everyone, there are some great streamers on Twitch. I would head over, check out Callow. He does some really cool, fun stuff. Check him out. Definitely give him a follow. Check out his channel. Good to see you, man. Let's see. So who are we going to go over and say hi to today? We are going to go to the science and technology section. Okay, I'm introducing a lot of you to Prime. We got to head over to Prime. We haven't raided Prime in a long time, and we'll probably raid Mr. Prime again once or twice a month. We'll head over there, but he's learning Rust, and tomorrow we're learning some stuff about Decoded, and we are going to be working on a little bit of Rust during the Decoded bootcamp. We're going to head over, we're going to say hi. Probably one of the most fun streams in the science and technology section. Really smart guy, works at Netflix. We're gonna go say hello. And I would stick around for a few to see how cool this guy is. Can you repeat the link to the website? It is academy.mastermind.io. mastermind.io. There's the link right. Oh, I spelled that wrong. Well, let me just copy and paste it. It is, whoops. Let's see, back to, so academy.mastermind.io is where you can go to get everything. But click on journeys and either decode it or pipelines, and it'll take you to where you need to be. And so you can check that out. So academy.mastermind.io. So we're gonna head over /raid. I'm gonna spell it wrong again. The Prime Agan. I did it right. I'm a good typist now. Finally, I'm a good typist. But I will see everyone tomorrow. Thanks everybody for coming through, for asking all the questions. I'll see you all in Discord. Hop in there, man. Let's get excited for all the things we're about to learn. But peace out, everyone. Have an excellent night.